And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love to help you win. Save our hotline number. We appreciate all that reach out and contact us and support our show partners. 813-917-1894. Just call or text the hotline. 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
We love it when the hotline rings, and it means that we're helping people. We always want to put you in touch with the best expert contributors here in Tampa Bay, and we've got some great ones on the show today. You're going to hear from Dan Fica from the AC Guy of Tampa Bay, our contractor expert contributor for today's show. Michael Watkins as well, principal Tampa Bay advisor, 401k revival author of his book. And we've got Justin Kelly in studio here, president, CEO, CPF Mortgage, cpfloans.com as well. So we're going to talk about what's happening in the real estate market, the mortgage market, and Costco exits the mortgage industry. Some interesting stuff there as well. And I want to thank Veteran Gutters for our segment sponsor, United States American Veteran. It's American-made products, Veteran Gutters. Brandon Porter and his team do a great job for all veterans gutters provider here in Tampa Bay. His whole team is veterans. United States of America, best country on the planet. Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. And we like to feature our real estate listings live on air. So if you're thinking about listing your property, you should talk to us and kind of get our rundown of everything that we do marketing-wise to help you sell faster for more money. Hot property listing here, 700 North Osceola in Clearwater. This is a waterfront beauty, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. You're overlooking the intercoastal waterways, and you have a view of the bridge from the south view there. $650,000 ask price. Unit number 405 at 700 North Osceola. Gorgeous condo, updated to the max. You've got the Uba Tuba in the bathrooms and the kitchens. That's your granite. You got the beautiful flooring, marble flooring throughout. Great opportunity. Saltwater pool, gym, private boat dock, barbecue grill area. Just a great opportunity to own real estate. 1,600 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Justin Kelly in the house, President, CEO, CPF Mortgage. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. And yeah, so turbulent times, things happening out there, geopolitical stuff. Who knows? Maybe World War III across the seas. But what do we do about it, right? What can we do about it right here in Tampa Bay, helping people save money when it comes to mortgages and in real estate, smart decisions in real estate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always say we can only control what we can control, right?
That's right.
Everything else it is what it is.
That's right. Focus on what you can control, the power of focus. Where your energy goes, your energy flows. Or your focus goes, your energy flows, that is. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the misconceptions people have, though. So the Fed raised the rates. What happened? It's the overnight lending rate, right? So people have this misconception that overnight, all these mortgage companies have to raise their rates by that amount. Right. But it's really much more detailed than that.
It is. So, we've heard from the Fed for a good minute that, hey, listen, we're going to be raising the Fed funds rate, which is a short-term overnight rate for interbanking lending. And it does affect, things like car loans, credit cards, boat loans, consumer loans in that respect, but not necessarily mortgage loans right away. They're correlated, but it's not directly correlated. So the turmoil that we've really been seeing in the mortgage market is related to something completely different. The Fed over the last decade has been one of the largest purchasers of mortgage-backed securities or mortgage bonds. A lot of people don't know that. And, they've clearly postured and communicated that not only are we going to stop buying these mortgage-backed securities, but we have a large balance sheet full of them, and we're going to start selling those as well into the market. And that's really what started this increase in the mortgage rates because, the secondary market and the bond holders, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And so you can only go based off the communication you have from the Fed. They say they're not buying mortgage bonds anymore, so there goes demand. They say they're going to sell into the market, so supply is going way up. Therefore, you have to attract investors to purchase these mortgage-backed securities or mortgage bonds, and so you have to raise interest rates in order to attract, investors.
Right. Yeah, so that's a great breakdown because traditionally you would hear back in the day, especially it would be more of the Chinese buyers, overseas buyers, that mortgage-backed securities packaged and sold on the secondary market, primarily going to Asia, at least the way I understood it.
Absolutely, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Japan is one of the biggest purchasers, or has been one of the biggest purchasers in recent years. The Fed was also one of the largest purchasers of those mortgage-backed securities. So anytime you have, somebody that's pulling out of the market or withdrawing, like the Fed is, and not purchasing those securities anymore, they got to replace that somewhere. Demand has to come from somewhere.
Right. So to couple that with rents rising, I got a clip here from the Charlie Kirk show I'm going to play. But couple interest rates rising on purchases, refinances market is drying up, and then I've got a clip I'm going to play right here.
So Phoenix, for example, for the last 30, the average prior rent used to be $1,325 a month for his, and he owns apartment buildings all over Phoenix. Now it's $1,693 a month. That means that rent has gone up 27.8% on average in Phoenix in his last 30 move-ins. Austin, 23%. San Antonio, 21%. Dallas-Fort Worth, 18%. North Carolina, 16%. Houston, 15%. The real inflation rate, I said this the other day, and someone laughed at me. But when they laugh at us, that's how you know we're probably right. I said the real inflation rate's 35%. I said it's right near there. For working people, that's about where it is. If you count gas, you count food, you count travel, you count all that other stuff. So Andrew and I were talking in the break. He says,
So when you think about that, so rents are sticky, meaning when they go up, they stay up, right?
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many times I talk to a seller that's saying, hey, I'm going to capitalize. We know the market's hot. I'm going to sell now. And they say, well, I've got my tenant at a lower rent. I haven't raised the rent on them yet. But an investor may want to buy it, and then they will probably raise the rents. Sometimes on a small townhome from $800 up to $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. So you got rents rising, challenging times for both renters and then people that are looking to relocate.
We're seeing this, across the board here in Florida. Rents have increased, I think, significantly across the country, but specifically in Florida and in the Tampa Bay area.
Right.
So as we kind of look at that and we're talking with people, current renters, and we're analyzing, looking at, hey, you're paying, X amount of dollars for rent. Even though we've seen some increases in the mortgage rates, as you look at it and you start comparing what it costs to own a home as opposed to rent a home, it still makes all the sense in the world to potentially look at purchasing a home.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to look at buying, getting into home ownership, take advantage of the appreciation on your own balance sheet, right? Otherwise, the landlord's going to get that appreciation. You have so many different reasons why: tax incentives, just the pride of ownership. Think about that pride of ownership thing, knowing that when you paint that wall or you add that fence or that landscaping, that's yours. That's an improvement to your home. There's a thing also in politics you hear called the tragedy of the commons, right? You see that in big cities, inner cities. Oh, it's not mine. It's not my backyard. This is just an apartment complex. And then, so that pride of ownership is there as well when you own the property. So this is where we talk about our rent versus own analysis. Can you break that down? And we'll send an offer out there to the listeners if they want to take us up on it, to our audience. But a rent versus own analysis, can you break that down, what that actually means and what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what we do is we take the amount that you're paying in rent monthly, and then we're going to look at potential rent increases over the next 5 years. At the same point in time, we're going to look at today's cost to purchase a home, and we're going to calculate in over the next 5 years how much equity you're going to build in there by making payments and paying your loan down, as well as equity appreciation, meaning the price just continuing to go up. And I say this, look at people who have bought in the last 3 years. They've had such a huge equity appreciation, just right time to buy, right? In the last 36 months, they got in, and many have seen six-figure increases in the equity in their home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You got that increase that the folks would be missing out if they're just renting, if they're looking at the renting situation. Plus, you can't throw the cool parties. You might get evicted, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. and it's always cool to say you have an asset, right? You own an asset.
Exactly. And, absolutely.
It goes to work for you over the years.
Build wealth.
Yep.
That's how a lot of multi-millionaires have built their wealth, through real estate acquisition and buy and hold strategies. Look at Grant Cardone down in Miami, Cardone Capital. I mean, they're doing a lot of apartment complexes. he's using other people's money as well. These accredited investors, and I think he takes like a 35% management fee on that too. But that, hey, that's his business. But hey, for the listeners out there, for our audience, we'd love to offer a rent versus own analysis, and that's what makes our show a little bit different from most of the other shows out there. Is we have these call to actions. For example, if you want to know the value of your property, we can do a CMA for you. You can text value. If you want to know rent-wise, what Justin was just saying, if you are renting and you're paying $1,500 a month, $2,500, $3,500 a month, what does that mean in an actual ownership scenario? So rent versus own analysis. So go ahead and pull out your smartphone, shoot us a text message to 813-917-1894. Just call or text that line. It's an off-air number. Text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to 813-917-1894, and we'll put you in touch with Justin and his team. We'll do a rent versus own analysis for you, breakdown. You'll see it on plain and simple on paper on a spreadsheet. It's going to say, hey, rent over here, ownership over here, equity over here, non-equity, non-growth, etc. So just give us a call or a text. By the way, if you wanted to know what the value is of your home, just text the word value, and we'll do that for you too. 813-917-1894. Justin Kelly in the house, President and CEO, CPF Mortgage, local lender, support the local economy. And this is where I kind of talk about also, a lot of these banks nowadays, I mean, they're gone woke, man. A lot of these banks are just doing things and not supporting values that most of us believe, around this radio station and our listenership, not to go too down a bunny trail there, but talk about your company and your values and what you do. I mean, you're supporting the local economy here by supporting the radio show and supporting Justin Kelly and his team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, listen, we're an independent mortgage broker and, correspondent mortgage lender. And, we have a set of pillars that each employee, swears by. And, as they come on and as we continue to, serve our community, our goal is to always let those pillars shine through and our values shine through. It's important, right? Customer first, everything else follows.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No matter what business you're in the people business, right? So when I'm having my listing appointments, that's what I talk about. It's just really making sure our customers feel like they're in touch. They know what's going on through the transaction. Communication being such a huge part, especially in real estate, mortgage, title. There's so much confusion, and then when something does go wrong, it's something that maybe we could jump on right away and make sure that the communication is there, because unfortunately there's going to be liens that we didn't see, or there's going to be debt ratios or whatever type of issues. But I think as long as we communicate that with people and are upfront and honest about it, then that's the best way.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, on the lending side, mitigating risk is the most important thing for a buyer. And when you're going to get a mortgage loan, most people don't know. They don't understand, right? Like, hey, what am I supposed to do first? And is the company that I'm with or that I'm getting a mortgage through doing things the right way?
Right.
And so it's important, we set up a complete upfront validation team where we're giving people certainty in the transaction. We're reviewing all their tax returns, their pay stubs, their bank statements. We're making sure that if there's any red flags or speed bumps, we're going to identify that stuff up front, and we're going to fix it prior to them going out and putting a contract on a home.
Yeah, absolutely. Stop by cpfloans.com. Justin Kelly, cpfloans.com, friend of the program here. Costco exits the mortgage industry. Tell me about that one.
I mean, go to Costco, get 2 gallons of mayonnaise, a gallon of pickles, 47 hot dogs, and apparently throw your mortgage in the basket too.
Yeah.
I guess it's not really surprising that they exited. Listen, a mortgage is a really complicated transaction. It requires a dedicated individual and a company that's focused. And so I always tell people, listen, if you're going to go get a mortgage, go to an independent mortgage broker or independent mortgage company and make sure that that's all they do is mortgage loans. There's no other additional products that they're trying to sell or that they're tied in with. You want somebody that is an expert at doing mortgage loans when it comes time to buy a home.
And that's another thing that we could pick on the big banks with. I don't have to say their names. You know who they are. They took the bailout money. They took that money and they went and bought the best corner lot location, corner building location with the highest amount of traffic count with our taxpayer dollars. But that's a good point too. Is that they're doing auto loans, all types of retirement type programs. They've got probably a salary or hourly type worker there that's not tied into the transaction as much as a mortgage loan officer would be at your organization.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like you said, they're selling many different products, trying to get, deposits, CDs, insurance, auto loans. It's like jack of all, master of none.
Yeah.
So, when you need a heart surgeon, you want to go to a heart surgeon, right?
Exactly.
So, same thing when it comes to mortgages. You want to go to somebody who specializes in mortgage loans, make sure it's being done right, and make sure everything's, proper up front.
Yeah. And it's, to that note too, you don't care, with a pilot, for example, United Airlines, they're starting to hire based on color of skin versus the skill set of the person. In other words, things that can't be changed versus a competency. And I know a lot of the banks do that too. I mean, I don't care if I'm going to get a heart surgery. I want the best heart surgeon. I don't care if they met their quota for African American, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's the problem you see with a lot of the big banks too, is they're going down that woke road.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think maybe some of it is certain pressures that they have at being a publicly traded company.
Right.
I can't speak to that, but the quality of your work should speak for itself, and that's what the merit of everything should be based off of.
Everything does, especially on your sites. I've seen a lot of great feedback from your customers, your testimonials, great feedback on there. CPFloans.com. Justin Kelly, he's the president and CEO of CPF Mortgage. Final thoughts, and how would you like people to engage with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So really super easy to get in touch with us. You can call us directly at 727-226-1040 or go online at cpfloans.com. And I always say, if you're getting a mortgage, make sure you're working with an independent mortgage broker or independent mortgage company. It's important.
Yeah, that's right. And check them out online. Check out the reviews. Look at the the testimonials online, and that's an important part of it. Making sure that you're working. And again, support the local economy here. Support the local small independent companies here. We're mid-sized company, real estate company with Keller Williams, and same thing here. Small to mid-sized company supporting that middle income. That it's really, I feel like the middle class is under attack now. So you got to really try to do what you can to support the good guys here in Tampa Bay. So thank you, Justin. Appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right, taking a quick break there. When we come back, we got Michael Watkins, Principal Tampa Bay Advisory, and he's the author of the 401k Revival. He's a published author as well. Michael's going to talk to us about things happening in the market and more from our expert contributors. Plus, we have a feel-good story of the day coming up later. We got Apollo Beach veteran awarded Silver Star for bold leadership during Operation Iraqi Freedom. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894. 1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in any marketplace. That is the goal of our show, and we appreciate those who support the program. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter. We've got our YouTube channel as well, Brandon Rhymes Realty, and you can follow us on pretty much any platform out there. We're there, and we stream the show live out there to Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, lots of other places. We've got some hot listings here in Tampa Bay. We'd like to let you know about our listings here. Commercial property at, we've got 1211's Parsons. This is a great property, completely renovated, beautiful opportunity for a business to relocate, professional office space, maybe a chiropractor, dentist, could be a massage. 1211 Parsons Avenue in Tampa Bay. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay in Brandon, Florida. We got 1211 Parsons property here in Tampa Bay. Beautiful property. And you've got complete renovation job that has been completed. Complete renovation, gorgeous opportunity here in Tampa Bay. You can see the money that has been spent and updates been made. All of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, and this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. It's a safe and effective way to restore your body's systems. So you're getting a nurse that either comes to your home or office, or you could visit their 3 locations here in Tampa Bay, and they hook you up with a vitamin infusion drip, goes directly into your bloodstream. Replenish IV Solutions. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got our friend Michael Watkins here on the program, retirement income planner, author of the 401k Revival and Protecting Your Future with Tax-Free Long-Term Care. Michael, welcome back to the program, sir.
Hey, good to be back, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Yeah, last time we talked about, the planning for retirement in advance, and, I didn't know we'd come that close to uncovering some of the sage advice that you give people. So let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with an old saying, and it goes like this. It's always too early to plan until it's too late. So let's face it, none of us are getting out of here alive, right?
That's right.
And so as we age, there's an increasing likelihood of serious health issues developing, and, that could potentially put a big dent in our assets, which in turn affects our retirement lifestyle, right?
Absolutely.
So by having your financial affairs arranged properly, you could potentially deflect or completely mitigate some of the financial burdens that your family's going to incur, from unforeseen scenarios playing out in your life. And simply put, this type of planning is just really bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it today while you're still with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to plan ahead of time, and you got to look for ways and changes in the market. I imagine with this volatility in the market lately, your phone has been ringing off the hook.
Yes, there's been a few concerned people, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so can you give us an example of how someone could potentially increase their retirement income by planning in advance? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a page out of the 401k Revival playbook. And so if you're contributing to a company-sponsored plan like a 401k, 403b, 457, et cetera, turning 59 is a magical number for you. And here's why. You fall into what I call the red zone, and that's the 5 to 10 year period either just before or after retirement. And during this period of time, Brandon, you cannot afford to lose any money due to an untimely stock market correction.
We're going to hold that over to the next segment here. We had the short segment coming into a longer segment with you, Michael, when we come back. Quick break here, more with Michael Watkins, Retirement Income Planner on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Say that again.
Hey, Michael, that was our short segment. We got a longer segment here now.
Okay, so just pick up where I left off.
Yeah, I'll just kind of tee it up where we kind of had you left off there.
Okay, buddy.
So, all righty, perfect.
Johnny, you're good?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We are part of the Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment Division now. Real excited about that. Pretty cool new, established in December. So we're one of only 1,000 agents nationwide selected to be a part of that. Also part of Keller Williams Luxury Division. So typically you think about luxury homes over $1 million, and commercial division as well. So we'd love to help you buying, selling, or investing. Reach out. We'd love to talk to you. 14663 Village Glen Drive in Carrollwood. This is a beautiful property that we've got listed here in Carrollwood, in the heart of Tampa Bay. Beautiful property. You've got a good style of layout in this home as well. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. You've got almost 2,000 square footage. Carrollwood Village, one of the most popular areas in all of Tampa Bay. And you've got a pool, spa, screened in with the lanai. And you also have a outdoor kitchen. You got master bath with a jacuzzi tub, sauna, tanning bed, gourmet kitchen. Awesome opportunity. 14663 Village Glen Drive in Tampa. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
All I've got's love for Love City.
All right, Michael Watkins in the house here, retirement income planner, and he's also a published author, The 401k Revival and Protecting Your Future with Tax-Free Long-Term Care are his 2 books. Now, Michael, we were talking before the break, if you could give us an example of how someone could potentially increase their retirement income by planning in advance.
Yeah, sure, Brandon. So if you're contributing to a company-sponsored retirement plan, like a 401k, 403b, 457, etc., turning 59 and a half is a magical number for you. And here's why. You fall into what I call the red zone. And that's the 5 to 10 year period, either just before or after retirement. And so during this window of time, you cannot afford to lose any money due to an untimely, stock market correction. And so here's a 5-star tip. At age 59 and a half, you become eligible for what's called an in-service transfer, and that gives you the ability to create a fully insured personal pension. So if I could, I'll just outline some of the important mechanics of this move and why it's so powerful for folks.
Yeah, I love it.
So by completing a custodian-to-custodian transfer, no, and I repeat, no taxable event happens. So that's huge. That's one. Then the transfer allows you to reposition a large portion of your savings into a guaranteed income growing account. Now, once you make the transfer, the stock market could come crashing down, let's say 60 or 70%, and your money's completely safe. So for people that are close to retirement and don't have time to recover from a potential market crash, it's like manna from heaven to these to these people. So, and then lastly, I would point out that these accounts can also help shield people from, many unknowns, for example, like long-term care needs. And the United States Health and Human Services tells us that 60% of retirees will need some form of LTC in their lifetime, and HHS studies this stuff, so I'd listen to them.
Yeah, HHS, the Health and Human Services. So Health and Human Services studies it. So long-term care, when you think about long-term care, I mean, some of these, you look at the longer we live, the greater the likelihood we'll need some type of expensive medical care. So is that what you're referring to there with the long-term care?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I can give you an illustration real quick. Let's say you have a retirement account, a 401k with a $510,000 balance. So at age 59, you could transfer out $500,000, leaving $10,000 in the account so it remains open. And if you're working, by keeping this account still open, you're able to make contributions just like you always have through your payroll deduction and continue to enjoy a company match if that's applicable. So I call this having the best of both worlds. And so you can continue to contribute, but the transfer protects the bulk of your retirement savings. So
that transfer is custodian to custodian?
That's correct.
Got it. So that's Absolutely. How you avoid the taxes.
Yes, exactly. By not taking possession of the money personally, you avoid any type of a taxable event. So in this situation, the $500,000 gets deposited into a guaranteed income growth account, and this is an account that's contractually guaranteed to grow by 10% simple interest. So based on a deposit of $500,000, that's a guaranteed annual growth of $50,000 in the account. So fast forward from age 59 and a half, 10 years, to 69 and a half, the account will have grown to $1.1 million. Now, they use a thing called a mortality rate when the pension starts to produce money. Okay, it goes off of a mortality rate. And at 69 and a half, it's 5.1%. So that produces $56,100 a year for life. And by the way, that can be turned on at any age, but I'm just giving an example here. But here's the amazing feature of something like this, and many people don't know it exists. If you should need long-term care, the custodian will double your annual income for a period of time. And in this case, $56,100 gets doubled into $112,200, and that annual income can last for up to 5 years. Now, after the 5 years, and let's say you're still alive, it reverts back to the original $56,100 for the rest of your life. But the importance of an income doubler in a private pension plan cannot be overstated, Brandon, especially for someone that's insurable. And so that's just one small example how, pre-planning can make positive impacts to your retirement, which, by the way, you've heard me say this before, it's going to be the longest and most expensive vacation of your life. Right. And I'll also add to that, there are no do-overs in this, so you really need a rock-solid plan in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Watkins here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He's an income planner, author of a couple different books, The 401k Revival, Protecting Your Future with Tax-Free Long-Term Care. And Michael, tell us a little bit about the books and what prompted you to write them.
Yeah, well, one reason, Brandon, is people come in to see me to solve problems. They need retirement income. They don't know where to pull it from. They're worried about tax implications and that type of thing. So I wrote the 401k Revival simply because I've been doing this for 11 years now, and I just see the heartache and disappointment on people's faces when they come in to visit with me, and they, I tell them, I share with them, a lot of what you've done is just been not effective in the 401k. And then as far as protecting your future with tax-free long-term care, I co-authored this book, and it's really about showing people how to create tax-free money for long-term care using their IRA for long-term care, veterans benefits, Medicaid eligibility, and then, most importantly, how to legally protect your assets.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's a combination of all those factors that's going to, basically, what your end result is going to be. It's a combination of the factors, all those taxable, the amount of return that you're getting. It's important. it's a situation too where I think a lot of people just don't know where to start. So, Michael, how can you help people? Where do they start, and then what's the best place for people to contact you?
Okay, well, the best way for people to contact me, and that's really where we start, is to have a conversation.
Okay.
It's simple. Just go to TampaBayAdvisory.com, TampaBayAdvisory.com. At the top of the homepage, there's a button where you can book a call with me to discuss your situation. And, we'll get together. We'll talk about your needs. And, by the way, if you come in and see me, I'll give you a signed copy of my book to read because there are a lot of other 5-star tips in the book that you'll certainly want to know as you're navigating towards retirement.
Yep, that's important. Make sure you know that we work so hard to make the money these days, and especially with what is going on from out of Washington, D.C. with the increase in taxes. We know that taxes are going to be going up. So what can you do is you can plan for it, and you can have a strategy. Otherwise, your earnings is going to get eroded with taxes and other potential, threats to that. So TampaBayAdvisory.com. Check it out. Michael Watkins, he's retirement income planner. TampaBayAdvisory.com. You can book a call directly there. And Michael, thank you so much. Always great information. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. All righty. We're going to take a quick break there. When we come back, we've got Dan Fica in the house, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. Going to talk about contractor tips, things to do, things to avoid. And we also have our feel-good story of the day. Apollo Beach veteran awarded Silver Star for bold leadership during Operation Iraqi Freedom. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, always helping you win in any marketplace. 4220 West Pearl is a beautiful listing that we've got. It's a commercial property down in South Tampa now. This is perfect for that self-employed company. You've got a opportunity for a 1,200 square foot building. It's over a half an acre of lot of land right here in beautiful South Tampa. Corner lot with ample parking, centrally located in South Tampa. Great opportunity to relocate, contractor business or other type of business. 4220 West Pearl Avenue in Tampa. One of our hot real estate listings. Also got another one at 3008 North Nebraska Avenue. This is a professional office space. So again, more of like an office space for a CPA, an attorney, real estate, mortgage, title office at 3008 North Nebraska Avenue, property here in Tampa Bay, the Seminole Heights area. It's a beautiful property here, 3,600 plus square feet. Price reduced, 6 rooms, 3 bathrooms, mixed use opportunity, plenty of building, plenty of parking and street parking location in Seminole Heights, Opportunity Zone, close proximity to I-275 and I-4, downtown Riverwalk, and much more. 3008 North Nebraska Avenue in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75. Yeah, something good.
All right, right, so we got an Apollo Beach veteran awarded the Silver Star right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. The United States Department of Defense awards top honors to recognize acts of valor performed by soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. So the top 3 awards are the Medal of Honor, Navy Cross, and the Silver Star. The first Silver Star was awarded in 1932 during World War I. Below are excerpts from the citation of the Department of Defense awarding Corporal Evan Stafford of Apollo Beach the Silver Star for his actions on April 7, 2004 during Iraqi freedom. And it says, when his team executed immediate action to flank the enemy machine gun positions, Corporal Stafford dismounted his vehicle and, while under enemy machine gun fire with small arms fire, charged forward across a shallow canal, up a berm. After silencing the first enemy position, he was ordered to go back over the berm to support the withdrawal of another team. With disregard for his own safety, he assaulted over the berm under withering enemy fire for a second time and single-handedly neutralized 2 insurgents at point blank. 5 men received the Silver Stars after the battle. Corporal Stafford's Captain Brent Morrow was the only soldier killed that day. He was awarded a Naval Cross. Corporal Stafford was later portrayed in the film miniseries Generation Kill. He now owns and operates an aluminum construction business in Apollo Beach called New Wave Aluminum. So there you have it. There's our feel-good story of the day. I love those heroic-type stories. Welcome in, Dan Fika.
Thank you. How we doing?
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming in. AC guy of Tampa Bay, and we've had you on the show before. So contractor tips are typical what we talk about, things that people can do and to look out for. But today, dehumidification is a topic of interest.
Absolutely. Here in Florida, we have 2 major enemies: the heat and high humidity.
Yes.
Right? So typically in the state of Florida, when the summer months roll around, we can see upwards, high 90% relative humidity. And inside, so our only escape is actually to go in our house, where the cool air is present, right?
Yep.
So, I've heard multiple times, hey, got a new air conditioner installed, but yet I keep it cold, but I'm still sticky in my house. Some people don't, we're so used to looking at temperature and thinking that, hey, the colder the temperature, the better I'm going to feel.
Right.
And that is not the case all the time.
Right.
Right. So a lot of factors that roll into this is the relative humidity. Recommended relative humidity is between 40 and 60%. I like to tell people, hey, if you don't own a hygrometer or psychrometer, simply grab one for $10 off of Amazon, something like that. And it's a good way to measure your relative humidity. There's different things that will cause high humidity, system installation errors, ductwork issues, things like that. Or just the fact of during the possible sales process, somebody didn't explain the other types of air conditioners that you can buy, the different functionalities. We're so used to the old school way where they had air conditioners that were called single stage systems. So I like to explain to customers what that is like a light switch. Basically, it turns on, shuts off. Those are good and great when it's 90 degrees outside. They will dehumidify very well. Now, the issue is during the months where it's 75 degrees outside and the humidity is still high, so we get into the issue to where the system doesn't run. So I explain to people, some systems that actually use multi-stage technologies or variable speed technologies have the ability to reduce their capacities. What that means, when you reduce the AC's capacity, the system will run. So an air conditioner that does not run, no dehumidification occurs. That's flat out.
Right.
So
and you see that when people go back up north and they leave it, locked up, pent up, and then you come back and you got mold growing, you got all these other problems.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's when you reach that 70%, relative humidity for extended periods of time. So that's a really big issue that I run into and see. So I like to tell people, these different systems, the multi-stage systems, the beautiful thing is they have the ability to obviously reduce their capacities, which will then give you better dehumidification. It will actually run. So a system's not going to turn on, run for 3 minutes, and shut off. It will turn on, reduce its capacity, give you a consistent runtime, and give you comfort inside the home. The lower the temperature means nothing once again, if the humidity's high.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Dan Fika here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, the AC Guy of Tampa.com. ACGuyofTampa.com is the website. So, yeah, humidity is such a killer, especially if we're going into that season right now.
Absolutely.
It's a big part of it. Now, you mentioned ductwork. sometimes when I'm up in attics, or I very rarely am, but when I'm looking at new construction, right, or I look at even at my home, you see how they make those turns and they have the little twist, and you wonder over the years, does that size of the air, where the air is flowing through the duct, does that get squished down, and does that cause problems? Is that an issue that you find?
So ductwork will typically last you about 20 years. So the ductwork consists of 3 layers. You have an outer layer called the vapor barrier, then an insulation, then basically the inner core is where the air flows. So picture a slinky wrapped with a black trash bag. That's where the air flows.
Yep.
So what happens over time is the insulation breaks down, becomes compressed. So that therefore it doesn't keep the cold air in. So naturally heat moves to colder air. You're in an attic space, 130 degrees. The air that used to be 55 degrees, 50 degrees has now raised in temperature because the insulation is broke down, basically.
Yeah. So that can happen over time.
Absolutely.
And then I always wonder about like dust inside of the system. Like dust and other contaminants inside the system.
Yes, I see that a lot. We think that just because we buy the 1-inch filter, hey, we're changing it monthly, we're doing our job. Those filters have a certain airflow rating on every single one. So therefore, if they're only going to block a certain number of airflow, basically your system usually moves more than that airflow. So what happens if you can't go through something, we go around it, the path of least resistance. So the dust that you see accumulate on your grills, the surfaces of your house, pretty much anywhere on your ceiling, that's due to lack of filtration. It could be some other things. Some leaky ductwork will happen as well.
Yeah.
I always recommend to our customers that we install a whole house media filter. Those are an annual filter. Depending on the living space, animals and pets, they may be every 6 months. But still, those are rated at the correct amount of airflow, and they will block large particulates, small particulates, better than any other filter you're going to buy. So it's definitely great for people with allergies and things like that as well.
So is that a different brand of filter? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's more or less it's an assembly that has to be installed with the system.
Oh.
Yeah. So you typically can't go to Home Depot and buy the filter. Or,
Okay.
Any of those things. I always like to recommend those. We can even install those on pre-existing systems as well.
Okay.
I will definitely recommend those because the fact of a filter costs you anywhere from $10 to $15. You're supposed to change them monthly. You do the math there.
Yep.
Right, so let's say it's $150 a year. These media filters, we sell them basically at $59 a pop.
Yep.
That's annually. Right then, you've already saved your money.
Right.
You've recouped your money, and you're benefiting your home and your health. At the
So it's
same
only
time.
annual change on those.
Annual. Now, if you have a lot of pets and things like that, then it may be more. Every 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But
even if it's twice a year.
Absolutely. You still win.
Right. All right. We're talking with Dan Fika here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, AC Guy of Tampa.com, acguyoftampa.com, longtime friends of the program. We've had Greg on the show, and just a great company, family-owned business. And, one of the things I was going to mention, too, is you've got these, typically you'll have the central AC, you got the inside unit, the outside unit, yes. All right, and maintenance, it definitely is, you have your VIP program. Now, you're seeing some people also, especially in homes that have maybe upstairs, downstairs, masters, downstairs, they'll put those units in the master. They'll just put just a single unit. I forgot what those are called right off the top of my head here.
So the mini splits are we talking about?
Yeah,
like hung on the wall.
Yeah, not a window unit, but they'll have one that's permanently installed and it goes through kind of the concrete. But you see people do that a lot of times just so if they're empty nesters, they stay in the master most of the time.
Exactly.
Especially at night, they want to have it nice and cool when they sleep.
Yeah. It's single zone mini split. Yeah, those are actually not a bad deal. They're extremely efficient. I tend to tell people to use those if they have a flat roof or a sunroom. Okay. Those are very beneficial because the fact of the structure typically does not allow you to run ducting out there.
Right.
So the next best solution is to actually stick a mini split in the system.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. If you do that, if it's actually closed off from the house and it's not considered square footage,
yep,
you could actually install a mini split in there, becomes conditioned space.
Yep.
That increases the value of the home.
Yep.
I like to explain, I actually did one for my mom.
Yeah,
and she absolutely loves it.
It's great. And the county, sometimes county won't count it on public record, but it does add value because the buyer is going to buy your home over the other home or pay a premium for that. So, but don't count on it dollar per square foot wise. In some cases, some counties, depending. But hey, Dan, always a pleasure, man.
Hey, Ben, thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Say hello to the team over there and everybody at the AC Guy of Tampa.
All right.
Appreciate that. Hey, another great show. Justin Kelly, Michael Watkins, Dan Fika on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks to our producers behind the scenes, all of our listeners, viewers out there. Greatly appreciate you supporting the show. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.